Ever feel like, I don't know, like we kind of lost touch with a way of seeing the world? Like ancient cultures had this understanding we've just, I don't know, forgotten.
Hmm.
Well, that's what we're going to dig into today. We're
Good.
talking magical thinking, but hang on, not the make your coffee disappear kind of magic.
Right.
We're going way back to see how ancient people used, well, magic to understand their place in the universe. And our guide for this trip through time, Michael Zellmann-Rohrer. He's like a historical detective, but instead of cases, he's cracking the code of ancient beliefs.
Absolutely. And we're lucky enough to have his website as our roadmap, so to speak.
It's true. It's like a treasure trove of clues. Speaking of clues, it's easy to, dismiss magical thinking as just superstition, right? Like, oh, those silly ancients.
It's tempting, but it's a mistake. These weren't just, quirky rituals. They were grappling with the big stuff.
Hmm.
Nature, fate, the cosmos. These were their answers to the same questions we still ask today.
It's like their way of making sense of the chaos. And Zellman Rohrer, he's not just skimming the surface here. He's diving deep, especially into these things called talismans.
Oh, definitely.
Now, for anyone who, hasn't stumbled across those in a museum gift shop, we're talking objects that were believed to hold power, maybe an amulet, special stones, that sort of thing. But these weren't just good luck charms
No,
here.
not at all. A talisman was like a physical manifestation of a belief, a desire. Imagine, say, a talisman carved with the image of a god. They weren't just invoking the god's name. They believed it could channel that god's power, like a direct line.
Wow. So it's like archaeology meets psychology. You're reading the object, but also the mind behind it. And speaking of reading, Zellman Rohrer's website, it has this whole section on the zodiac.
And this is way more than just what's your sign kind of stuff.
Right.
We're talking about how ancient cultures saw the stars as intricately connected to life on Earth, like the constellations at your birth. They could influence your personality, your fate.
Everything. It's wild. It's like they looked up and saw an entirely different night sky than we do,
Hmm.
filled with different meanings. And then there's this word on his site, epigraphy. Honestly, it sounds like it requires like a dictionary and a degree in ancient languages to understand.
It's simpler than it sounds. Think of it like this. You find an ancient wall. It's got etchings on it, not just doodles, but messages, prayers, maybe even someone bragging about their chariot racing skills, all carved into stone. That's epigraphy, studying those inscriptions.
Oh, so it's like eavesdropping on the past, hearing their stories firsthand.
Exactly. It gives us this amazing window into their daily lives, their worries, their beliefs.
I love that. And he also explores magical handbooks. These were basically what? Ancient spell books. What kind of stuff are we talking about here?
Think of it as an ancient guide to, well, everything. Healing spells, love charms, rituals to influence the weather. These handbooks weren't just about magic. They were about what people wanted, what they feared. It's incredibly human, even thousands of years later.
It's like this common thread, isn't it? From talismans to zodiacs to these magical handbooks. It seems like we as humans were hardwired to search for something bigger than ourselves, to find meaning out there in the universe.
Exactly. And that need, that search for meaning, it doesn't expire. We might not wear talismans or plan our lives around the stars anymore, but we still look for our place in the grand scheme of things.
It really makes you think. Even in our world of, science and logic and reason, we're still drawn to the unknown, to mystery.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to ponder. What does our fascination with the unexplained, whether it's ancient magic or, I don't know, that weird sound your car makes sometimes, say about us? What does it say about this very human need to make sense of the world around us?